Hello, everyone. Rafael Gevorkin here with John Hart Real Estate. I am here to introduce you all to another trusted professional that I work with for quite some time now. I believe we're going on 3 years, right, Shawn?
Yep, 3 years here.
3 years. Congratulations on your 3-year anniversary at One Key Escrow. Tell us a little bit more about your position, what you do, and the company that you work for.
Right. Okay. So my name is Shawn Hudson. I'm the Senior Escrow Officer and Branch Manager at One Key Escrow in Northridge. We're an independently licensed escrow company. Basically, what we do is we hold the funds from the buyer, and we basically hold the grant deed that the seller signs and notarizes until all parties have met their contractual obligations, the buyer's loan is funded, and then obviously we record the file at closing and disperse the funds to all the parties.
Look, you're a key. You play a vital role in all of my listings when I take them on. I've been working directly with you for the last 3 or 4 years now. It's important to have a really good escrow company that services when you're in escrow, because it's very key. Is there anything you can recommend to agents like myself that we can work with the homeowner to prepare like some documents before we open escrow or before we list the property? That way they get a kind of a heads up on what they need to be prepared for.
Absolutely. So, a couple of things. One, make sure that they have their payoff statements available for any loans that they may have, even if it's an equity line and they don't have a balance on it. We still have to order a payoff statement and freeze and close those lines of credit. So if they can have those statements, available and ready, so that way when you end up in escrow, they have the information at their fingertips. If they're in a trust, make sure that they have their trust documents available, because not only do we need to see them, but we have to forward them over to the title company for them to review, to make sure that all the appropriate signers are the ones that are signing, the contract, the escrow documents, and signing, notarizing that grant deed. Having that available, before we start asking helps speed up the process.
I think too, when it comes to the trust, we ran into this a couple of times this past year. Was if it isn't a trust, they got to set up a bank account for the trust, right? To be able to then transfer the funds from the sale over to the trust account. Is that correct?
Correct. So when a client has a trust, we are required to send those funds care of an account for the benefit of the trust. We cannot disperse any of the trust assets to an individual. So it has to go to an account for the trust. Yeah, and again, the quicker they should have it anyway. The whole point of having a trust is to protect your assets. Well, if you have money in the bank, that's also an asset. So making it easy for your, trustee to have access should they need it, setting up an account even before you're in escrow should be something that a client does that has a trust.
Cool. And we've done a couple of 1031 exchanges as well together this past couple of months. Can you explain a little bit more about those maybe, and what we need to prepare for as a realtor that's has a client that's going to be doing a 1031 exchange?
So, through the escrow process, if they're going to do a 1031 exchange, it's, also best to find that out before you list the property, so you can have them start looking for a qualified exchange company, somebody that they want to work with. And when it comes to the contract, you also have to disclose that to the buyer. So making sure that that's all incorporated as part of the purchase contract, either an counter or a disclosure, an addendum. It's much easier to do up front than try to chase down those signatures when you're 20 days into escrow and we need an addendum, because it has to be disclosed to, the buyer or the seller, depending on who's doing the exchange.
I remember I met a client a couple of years ago who was about to close escrow, and they kept saying 1031 exchange, 1031 exchange. They closed the escrow. We found the house to purchase them. I wasn't the one selling their house. But lo and behold, they never marked that it's a 1031 exchange. And so it was too late.
Yeah. And we've had escrows, unfortunately, delayed, not by any of our doing. I mean, we prompt and ask, but sometimes clients, they don't understand the importance of selecting and getting those exchange instructions and exchange documents back to the exchange company before you close escrow. Because once you close escrow, if none of those documents are executed and you haven't entered into a 1031 exchange, there's no backing into it. You can't prepare documents after close of escrow to put the funds in an exchange.
Yeah, it cost that family, I think, around $62,000 because their realtor simply didn't let escrow know that they were doing a 1031 exchange, and they were furious when I had to tell them. And so, please, anybody watching this video, if you're in a 1031 exchange, make sure you let escrow know. Make sure it's written down somewhere so that you can save your clients a ton of money. Shawn, you've been doing this for quite some time now, right? How long have you been in the escrow business?
I've been in the escrow business for 27 years. Thankfully, I've had the benefit of literally doing every job within the escrow company. So I started as a receptionist in 1997, and back then, everything came in via mail, which was a good learning tool for me, because I got to see, hold, and touch all those documents as they came in from either the couriers from the title companies, or the mail. We would check all that in. So having done literally every position, I think it makes me an effective manager and an effective leader, because it helps me guide my team on what I need them to do. And I've been there, I've been in the trenches where they are. So it helps me help them.
I remember too doing loans when I first started doing loans. There was really no like DocuSign or any of that stuff. So I remember every time I walk into your office, it reminds me of back in the loan days where I had every file on my desk and I had each one with a checklist, right? And we kept track of the appraisal came in, the docs came in. So I know that you're very, very organized and you have to be in your business. So I appreciate
I'm very, very much
appreciate
task and list orientated. I have a checklist for everything, from when we get a contract, to making sure that just all those little, boxes are marked. Did the wire instructions go out to the buyer? Did the buyer send their EMD? Did we open title? Did we order the 9A report? All those various things are all things that should be done before we type and start sending out packages. I like to be really on top of that stuff.
Well, again, I think it's key, right? The escrow company needs to be on top of things. I've worked with hundreds of different escrow companies in my career. A lot of times when we're representing the family that's buying the house, the selling broker picks an escrow company, right? And so, man, we've had some nightmares with some of these escrows. And so I'm very confident when I take on a listing that our escrow company, One Key Escrow, Shawn Hudson, is gonna just crush it. So I'm really looking forward to referring more and more and more over to One Key Escrow. Thank you so much for your time today. Is there anything you want to leave for the audience? Anything they want that you think would be important?
Another key thing, and I always tell, especially now we got spring break coming up, and shortly after spring break, you've got, your summer vacations. Another thing that's always good is know where your clients are going to be. You never know if they're going to be taking it never fails that a client's going to be on vacation right at the tail end of escrow.
2 days before
deal with the logistics of all that. And we have a team of mobile notaries, nationwide notary services that we can take care of that. But it's always good if we can take care of it before they head out to get it taken care of. So just, ask your clients, buyers, sellers, if they have any plans on going on vacation or being out of town at any course during the transaction. Makes your life easier in getting documents, my life easier in getting documents, to make sure that there's no delays in close.
I've been through some very, very interesting situations, especially like right when COVID hit. We had a seller or owner of the home who it was not in the States, they were in China. And the plan was to get them over to the embassy to have them notarize documents. Well, the embassy closed because of COVID. So we were just sitting here waiting to close. As soon as the embassy opened, they could walk into the embassy, right? Get things notarized and get it over here. So it took us about 2.5 month delay, but we finally got it done due to persistence. So, and that was with One Key Escrow at the time. So thank you to you and your team. Thanks again for your time today, Shawn. I really appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. You got a lot of stuff going on there. So thank you for this. I appreciate you and looking forward to doing more business with you this year.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Peace out. Have a great day.
All right. You too.